Hello everybody, this is Understanding Wine with Austin Beeman. This is episode 1, and I'm Austin Beeman. So I'm pretty happy that you're here today. This podcast is going to talk about wine and imparting some of the knowledge that I've been able to pick up working in the wine business as a retailer and as a sales rep and as a basically wine lover, and impart that to a lot of people who want to learn. So there's going to be a whole bunch of sessions, as updated as often as I could. And that's pretty much what we're talking about. So if we're going to start talking about wine, what we really need to talk about is a little bit of the definition of wine. What is wine? I'm going to make a lot of generalizations throughout this podcast, and if we don't put our definitions in place, we're going to be a little bit more of the exceptions than we'd want to be. So wine is an alcoholic beverage made from the fermenting of grapes. So you'll notice right now that I've taken like strawberry wine and raspberry wine and a whole lot of other things that a lot of people like and sometimes are very, very good, but they don't really qualify as wine the way that we're defining it. So we're just going to remove those. We might talk about those at some point, but when I'm generalizing about wine, strawberry wine, non-grape wine really isn't what we're talking about. The other thing, and it's a little bit more controversial, we're going to divide wine into the two major sort of genetic groups. There's Vinifera vinifera and Vinifera labrusca. And vinifera is what you would think of as classic wine grapes. We're talking Chardonnay, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, all the great grapes of Europe that are grown in America, New Zealand and Australia and Italy and Spain and everywhere that makes really great wine. And they all don't taste like grapes. I mean, they taste like other things, hints of leather and black cherry and cassis and all these beautiful things, but they don't taste like, that's a grape. Now, Vinifera labrusca, which was the more traditional American wines, the kind you can find in most states, in places like Ohio, where I live, or in Michigan, or in Missouri, or wherever you're looking, these have Concord, and we're talking Sauterne, and Catawba. These grapes are all going to be sweet in varying degrees, but all much sweeter than, say, a Cabernet Sauvignon or a Chardonnay would be. And they have a very strong flavor of grape. Like you put a grape in your mouth and boom, grapes. So basically, vinifera is what we're going to be generalizing about most of the time. When we're going to talk about labrusca, we're going to be very specific about that. So you might love Concord, you might love Catawba, and that's great, and you're allowed to. But when I'm generalizing, when I say things like most wine, the vast majority of wine is dry, I'm not taking into consideration those grapes. I'm taking into consideration the classic wine-producing varieties. So this is the first podcast. As you can tell, I'm a little nervous. I'm just getting started here. I've been in the industry a long time, and I'm trying to impart that knowledge talking to a camera. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments, leave questions. I'll try to answer as many questions as I can, as well as whatever themes that I think we should do, I'll come up with. You also want to watch this space for interviews with winemakers. I meet a lot of winemakers in my life, and I'm going to interview them, have them talk about what they're doing. I'm also going to do some profiles of wine, talk to some distributors, talk to other producers, talk to other wine fans, taste some old vintages in front of you, a little bit of a Gary Vaynerchuk thing from time to time. So basically try to keep it lively and basically just impart knowledge. So if I'm getting through to you, if you like what we're saying, please let me know. This is austinbeeman.com, and it is also at austinbeeman on Twitter. So thank you all for listening. I appreciate your time, and I will talk to you all later. Thanks. Bye.